good underpainting down, and then we'll go over it with some primer to give it a bit of a gritty surface. Then we can go over it with the pastels. It's great for when you don't have exactly the colour that you want, or you're going to do something that's got the main outlines. It's going to be a bit of a tropical one, this, and I'm just drawing that in quickly with the ink and covering. This is going to be the cliff face here, where I'm coming in there, cliff face. So I'm just, and in here is all going to be vegetation, so I'm going to give that a nice red sort of underpainting. And here I can show you how you can do it with the eyedropper. You can just drop it on like that in the area that you want it, and then give it a quick flick around with your brush. I'm not being very particular here. I just want a block of colour underneath my main painting. And what I'm choosing to do for this one is Complementary Colors. So this is going to be mostly green, so I'm putting a red, a sienna underneath it. Some cliffy sort of jaggedy lines along there, and then it's going to be in shadow on this side. I'll just grab myself a wee bit more. Have a nice yellow underpainting underneath the sea, and up here where it's a little bit darker I'm going to drop in some turquoise. Inks just really run beautifully, and so I'm just going to get that in, and then I'll take my brush and make sure it covers the paper. So there's the water. Just be a little bit careful. I'm going to be a little bit careful along the horizon just to get it. I don't want too much of this dark green to go up into the sky. So I want it to be a fairly good horizon line. I don't mind that some of that cliff's bleeding down into the water. That's all to the better. And then here we go. I'm just washing in water. There's going to be a beach coming around there, so I'll preserve some of that as nice clear whites. And there we go. So I'll very quickly cover the paper, making a very colourful underpainting. I'm going to put some, this is because I'm going to have a blue sky, and I'm going to want to have some yellow under it. Here I go, just washing that in with a round brush this time. Just want to cover the whole of the paper there. Right down into the little nooks and crannies. Doesn't matter I'm doing it upside down because I've already decided what the main shapes are. So that's just a little bit of a gentle wash across the sky. And now I want to put something in the cliffs there. I'm just going to put some browns in there. Once again, just drawing them in. Okay. I'll be right back with you in a moment. So, with our acrylic inks, our underpainting, and now I've just taken some of the Colour Fix Primer. And this is a clear one. It just looks a bit gloopy inside. And you can thin it with water and it works fine. I've just mixed some up in my little palette dish there. You can't really see it because it's clear. And then I just stroke it on all over painting, making sure I cover everywhere where I'm going to want to put pastels. So if it's too thick, just thin it down a little bit with some water. Just covering the whole painting now. The whole surface, here we go. It makes it look a little bit cloudy to start with, but it's not going to stay that way. It's going to dry clear. I'm just using an old brush for it because you don't want to use your good brushes. They get clogged up with it, but an old brush is fine. The more you put on, the more grit you're going to have on the surface to hold the pastel. So if you want it to be very fine, don't put quite so much on. If you want to hold the pastel a lot and build up some layers, you can put thicker layers on. Okay, so that's coming along. I just want to put in the mountains now, cliff faces. I'm using some downward strokes here, just being a little bit directional with the way the grit's going on. Doesn't really matter, as long as I've got a gritty surface. Excellent. Now into the sky. Putting some grit in there. This is a really good thing to do if you've got some paintings you're not quite happy with. Sometimes I do an acrylic or a watercolour that just doesn't quite work for me, and I want to resurrect it, and I'll go into a surface that I can go straight into with the pastels. I'll let that dry and then I'll show you how it works. So, bye for now. Next time I'll go back over this with some pastels and we'll see how the pastel works on top of that gritted surface. Bye for now, see you next time.